This is Miss Nikole joining us this evening. Miss Nikole, blessings to you. How are you this evening?
I'm doing great. I'm feeling great. Thank you for having me. I'm glad I met you, and let's see how it goes. I've never done this before.
Hey, listen, we're gonna have a good time. The family is happy to have you here. I'm sure they'll make comments along the way to say, welcome, Nikole. I know how the family is. We lead with love and respect. Mr. Jason is in the building with us as well. Mr. Jason, how art thou?
Hey, I'm doing well, man. Glad to be on this side of the dirt. You know, hey, love you back, man. Love you back.
I
Okay,
appreciate it, man.
love you
First and
back, man.
foremost, I'd like to personally thank y'all for being here on my journey. It's a long and treacherous journey, but you know what? Y'all still find time to make time for me. And for that, I'm appreciative and grateful. So thank y'all moving forward. How y'all feel? How was your days? Let's start with the young lady, Mr. Cole, first. What's popping, Mr. Elmira's on, Mr. Flynn in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Blessings to him. Miss Mr. Cole, how you feel? How was the day? How did the day
Uh,
treat you? Be honest.
Today was pretty good. It was a little slow work day, but I bumped into someone who I hope I can start business with in the
Mm,
journey of my passion.
mm.
So we'll see what God has for me in that
That's
journey.
a big W. I ain't throwing up West Coast. That's a big win. I like
That's
to
right.
hear when we meet somebody that is only about elevation, right? So,
Yes.
Mr. Jason, how was the day? How did life treat you, brother?
Hey, man, you already know what it is with me. Like I said, on this side of the dirt, bro. I'm
On this
thankful
side,
for that. Thankful for that. And it was a good day. Got some things done around the house, and got some, thoughts in, and some studying, and got an opportunity to chat it up with you, man.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
So
you
chat,
know,
chat, we will do. You know what I'm
you
saying?
know,
We're gonna
man.
talk tonight. We're gonna talk and we're gonna be transparent. But also, I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Everybody out there in the stands, ladies and gentlemen, this is the time. This is adult time. Put the kids in the closet or wherever you gotta put them.
Uh,
Go
uh,
get, go get whatever you smoking, whatever you drinking. The drinks are cold, ladies. I see y'all in them fitted outfits. Come on down to the front. You are all VIP this evening. Come on to the front. Have you a seat, and we'll get a waitress right to you to make sure they keep them drinks coming all night. It's on the house. Blessings from Jermaine Hall. I am your humble host. I am Jermaine Hall, and I'd like to welcome you all, kings and queens alike. Thank y'all for joining us this evening. Miss Bailey, my dog, Mr. Flynn in the building. We got James Massey in the building. Blessings.
hey, James, how
Everybody,
you doing, brother? Glad to see
everybody
you in
showing
here.
up. Miss Carrie, love, love, love. Everybody showing up, and I appreciate that. Tonight we're talking about abandonment, right? But we're gonna make some fun of it. We also gonna get hit to some deep parts that maybe y'all can take some tools with you to walk away with and be a better human being. Because after all, that's why we come together as a family. You know what I'm saying? I'm not like other podcasters, so to speak. I have a bigger vision of being a talk show host, and that I will be. So if you're tired of seeing me on your screen today, you're gonna really be pissed when you see me on your TV. You understand?
I
And I'm
know you can
yeah, yeah, yeah,
be
for
what you
sure.
want to be.
So
That's
love,
right.
love, love. So if you on here, share this live, man.
Yeah.
It takes 2 seconds and it's free. First, I'm gonna start y'all off with a little video because we need. Hello, Miss Tanya. Blessings to you. So I'm gonna start y'all off with a little video because I want to have a little chat about it. I think it's worthy of a conversation. So bear with me for a second. If it's too loud, just type a one in the comments. If it's too loud, and I'll lower that volume for you. Here we go.
Because you're disrespectful. You just come over here and just drop them off.
I have to ask you to watch your grandchildren.
No, you're not talking about watching. You just told me I was going to have to raise them.
I have to ask you to raise your grandchildren.
Oh, my God.
They're your grandchildren.
Oh,
It's your
my.
responsibility.
I I can't even believe I'm hearing this from you right now. I cannot believe that you actually think that I'm supposed to say it's okay, that I'm just going to just give up my life, my freedom, to raise 3 kids that not even mine. I raised you all, and that's all I'm going to do. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. So you can forget that. I'm not doing it.
You did not raise us.
What you...
And I'm not raising mine. So it's your responsibility now. So if you don't mind, I can just drive off. You raise your grandchildren. You can do it better than I can. I can't do it.
I want you to hear me when I say this.
I hear you, but
I am not raising your 3 kids. I am not keeping them today. I'm not keeping them tomorrow. Matter of fact, this is all your responsibility from this point on. You should have thought about that after you had the first one, and then the second one, and then now you got 3.
That was loaded.
Are we awake yet? Are we awake yet?
Yeah.
I thought it was fitting because the title tonight is Abandonment. Alone in a crowded room, right? I'd like to start with you, Miss Nikole. When you watch a video like that, tell me some of the pointers that stick out for you.
Okay, for me, I don't have grandchildren yet, and I just turned 49. So, on my point, I will keep my grandchildren as much as I can. Whenever, however long, but the child that I have needs to understand they're your children to raise. I just watch them. I'll help you raise, but I'm not keeping them forever and a day. Don't disrespect my grandmother privileges. And I see that with a lot of my friends. They keep their grandchildren a lot, and some don't. So I don't have that beautiful privilege at this time to have a grandbaby, 1, 2, or 3. But don't sit there and disrespect what I offer as a grandparent.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Mr. Jason, sir,
Yes, sir.
you saw the video. I know that it touched a few things in your soul. I can see your face shaking back and forth. When you saw the video, tell me what stands out for you.
Choices. I hear parents a lot of the times who do raise their children and everything, and they struggle and they say, I don't have a choice. No, you do. And this is an example of it. And we see it all the time. You do have a choice, and you choose that struggle, but you chose to also have those children. I was raised by my grandmother and my dad for a lot of my early childhood. And so I hear the mother saying, hey, I'm a part of this, but I'm not gonna raise your children. I raised you. I think it was presumptuous of the daughter, like, really? But she's making a choice. She, just like everybody else has a choice. You can choose to raise your kids or not. Okay, there's some place your children can go, whether it be with a family member, whether it be with the state. You make a choice. And if you make the choice to raise your children, then raise your children, be present. And, God bless you, man. I can't believe she was just going to turn her kids over, though. She can't do it. She can't do it.
So I'm gonna get to a couple comments before I respond. Miss Carrie, she says, I raised my grandson for 5 years. That's commendable. That's commendable. The circumstances may have been very different from the ones in the video. However, salute to you, Miss Carrie, for loving You know, that's what it's about. I always like to say love always wins, right? Uh, James said the daughter seemed to exhibit a sense of entitlement in her dialogue exchange with her mother. So
Mm-hmm.
now here's where it can get a bit tricky. I wasn't so quick to condemn the daughter because I don't know the mental state that she's in. I happen to be aware of postpartum. I happen to be aware of hereditary mental uh, unstableness and disabilities. I also happen to be aware that sometimes we make the worst decisions. So where she was saying, you keep having these kids, you're not just gonna dump them off me. Well, maybe the sex is the vice, right? So why would you think that I'm gonna use a vice and take responsibility in the act of it being a vice? This is not me having fun. I'm blowing off steam. The irresponsible part is that you think sex is for fun
Hmm.
only,
Huh.
only,
Huh.
only, right? So with that alone, that tells me it's a lot going on with that young lady than the surface of that clip, right? So I wasn't so quick to condemn her. What I was saying is on baby number one, who said what went through my mind. On baby number two, who said what? Has this been going on?
Yep.
Because I refuse to believe a grandmother is for the first time being approached with keep these kids on the third kid. On the third kid,
It sounded like a familiar conversation, didn't it?
of it's gotta be a familiar conversation because you don't get into that act and 3 kids later realize, oh shit, I need somebody to keep these kids. I'm gonna go dump them off over here. How do you even get that bold? Because
She
I
was
can't go.
comfortable. She was comfortable.
I can go to my parents and ask them for a lot of things, bro. A lot of things,
Mm-hmm.
whether they comfortable with it or not. I can ask for a lot of things. But you know what I can't do? Have custody of 3 kids and drop them off to my parents and say, "Here, y'all do it."
I was never able to do that because I had dated my ex-husband and we got into the army, so I wasn't able to be around my family a lot to say, "Can you help me? Can you have your grandkids?" So
Mm.
I never had that luxury. So for me, now that my two older children are older, I think I'd probably be the one to say, bring my grandbabies. I'll keep them, but don't make it seem like every time you gotta go here, there, everywhere." But I think I'm probably gullible because I don't have the luxury of grandkids like a lot of my friends that I grew up with. So I'll take my grandkids at any point in time at this point. I don't have any. And I never
Mhm.
grew up around my grandparents ever from either one of my parents. So I just don't like how people will disrespect, take advantage when there are lines that are crossed. But for me, I don't have that luxury. And I think I probably will be gullible to take my grandbabies at any time. That's my place in it.
Okay. So,
But
Mr. Elmira,
don't talk to me disrespectful and make it seem like I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to do that. Because when my mother does come visit and she's 2.5 hours away, she don't keep them babies and they're 16 and 13. You don't have to do nothing with my last two children. And my older two children are 29 and 25. So I'd be the gullible one to take my grandchildren at any point in time, but don't disrespect me in the process.
so the sense of entitlement bothers you. Mr. Elmira's own, thank you for that insight, by the way, Mr. Cole. Uh, Mr. Elmira's own, he said, I live 14 hours from my parents. So, yes, they would they would love to have their grandkids for a while, but I would never take advantage of that. That's somebody with a whole lot of respect, right?
Right.
Mr. Massey, he says, sir, please know I didn't have a spirit of condemnation when I shared my perspective and definitely understand your points. Well received. Hey, listen, your point also was well received. So
Absolutely.
my response was not in response totally to you. And I apologize. I like to speak in generalities here because absolutes, they pretty much don't apply. I don't know you or most of the people that stop in here, right? So I cannot speak to you as a professional or a subject matter expert. This is opinion based, man. We're just having a conversation, and I'm telling you, you're helping me with your conversation. You're also helping others. So whether it reach me or not, somebody may be in the comments. They say, I identify with that, and that helps me. That's why we're here tonight. So no, I didn't take it. I got tough skin. Even if you said, man, fuck that. I don't agree with that shit. And here's why. Guess what? You just opened up my perspective. I'm not so sensitive as to believe a few curse words can turn me off from the point.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Jermaine Hall Show.
Yeah.
Right.
This is how we talk. Grown.
You know what I'm saying? So Miss Carrie, she says the daughter may be having dangerous thoughts. She may be trying to protect the kids from harm from her.
I think that's overthinking.
We don't know the whole situation. I have a sense of responsibility for my grandson, right? There's so much more to read there.
Sometimes, yeah.
Miss Latanya, she said, I had my first child at 22 and had absolutely no business having a child because I had no examples of being a mom. I knew the luxury of having a grandmother and a grandpa to have my back. It was rough. Me now, I'm the one who will pick up the grands and spend time, but I bring them back home because my hands are full with running a business and still raising 2 other dependent kids. I can't raise another dependent. If I needed to step up in an emergency, I will. So now Miss Latanya says, regardless of how the approach was, she'll address that. However, she makes time to spend because she's got it to give, because she feels like the background she had dictates that. And that's another thing. Our environment normally dictates how we think, and our environment shapes the people, our decisions, experiences, those things shape who we become, right? So now moving from the video, we'll go ahead and get into the show. Let's have some fun, man. First question. Have either of you been through being abandoned in any shape, form, or fashion? We will start with Mr. Jason because we started with Mr. Cole prior to. Mr. Jason, have you been through being abandoned in any shape, form, or fashion?
Yeah, man. I felt like I was abandoned. Um, many times. Many times. Um, we had talked about, just about this topic and everything, and you know, relationships and things like that. And I can look back, in life, and with my mother, my biological mom, the first memory that I
Okay,
had.
wait. I don't
Yeah.
want you to get into
Okay.
that quite yet,
Okay.
simply because that feeds into one of my future questions, and you didn't know that,
I
but
got you.
I understand that. So you have been through
Oh, absolutely.
abandonments. We've established that you've been through it. You're ready to discuss it. Miss
Yeah.
Nikole, Mr. Cole, have you experienced abandonment in any way, shape, form, or fashion?
I did. And I didn't know that was a label for it. So
I
it
guess
was
we'll
true.
talk about that. We'll talk about the basis of that conversation in just a minute. What led you to the root of your problem with abandonment?
In a marriage, someone chose to do themselves in a selfish way. And I didn't know where they were. And with having children, they're asking me where my spouse was. I had no clue. And so with that situation, I wasn't the only one put in that position. So it was very hard to express when I did find out when the situation came about of where that person was and what they chose to do in the process of being selfish. It didn't only just hurt me as an adult and as a human being, it also put an emotional, physical, and mental status on the children that we had. And it's still a process, but we're slowly healing and everything has been pretty good. But the situation of the abandonment was very disrespectful. No concern but for that person's own well being, what they thought for themselves, how they thought for themselves. And I know people are talking more about what narcissism is because we didn't know what that was 20 years ago or 15 years ago. But when people are very selfish, they don't think how the decisions they make impact other people. And it's not just one person. And if there's little people that depend on two parents and that one parent is completely gone with no knowledge, it does have an impact on little people or younger adult people. And the impact is very, very, very emotional that I can't fix because it wasn't something that I brought upon them. It was brought upon someone else who needed to be accountable for their actions.
Mm.
And abandonment really hurts not only one person. And when you have little people that are involved and other children, it causes a lot of, you need to deal with what the responsibility of what you chose to do, not just put it under the rug. You have to take responsibility of what you chose to do for yourself.
Understood. Thank you for that. Mr. Jason, when it
Yes,
comes
sir.
to your abandonment, where did it come from? And explain to me the phases you went through.
Um, how I even got to realizing what was at the root was just a certain level of maturity and reflection. Um, Probably 20 in my 20s to mid 30s, went through a phase of failed relationships as far as partners go. Um, and in all of them, the one thing that was consistent was me. And I looked at some of the things that I was doing and, my approach to certain situations. And I was like, man, you know, why take that position? Why be hard about it instead of, you could have been a little softer about that, and you could have been a little more understanding. All of those things, because those are the things that I wanted. I was struggling with, you don't understand. People don't understand. You don't understand. Um, and so it kind of led me to, okay, not why are they like this? Why am I like this? What happened? When did it change for me? And through that introspection, through reflection, prayer, um, mentorship, therapy, I went all the way back. And it was the relationships with women that I struggled with. Because never had a problem being friendly or popular or anything like that, but held on to, something more than a passing day, a passing night, a passing year. I when you said forever, I believe that. And it went all the way back to, when did it happen? Well, I look at the first memory that I had of my mom. First memory was Easter Sunday, 4 years old. Okay. Her sitting my brother and I down before, we were all about to go to Easter service. And she told my brother and I, hey, dad and I aren't going to live together anymore. You guys are going to stay here with your grandmother and your dad. And of course, my little mind, we didn't understand that. But as life progressed on, we saw other kids and families and everything, and mothers, and that nurturing thing that they were getting, you know. And for a long time early on in life, we felt like, I felt like I was missing out on something, but I just didn't know what it was. And so, I traced it all the way back to that, and then the behaviors that started after that. My own behaviors.
We'll get to behaviors in just a minute.
Yeah.
Right. I want to get to a couple of the comments before I move forward, because I appreciate everybody that's here engaging and showing love. I think it's important that I read their thoughts, because it's not just us three on the panel having a conversation.
Absolutely.
It's also everybody out there. As much as I can get to, they're rolling fast. So, I'd like to spend some time in the minds of those that are out there watching from wherever they're watching from. Miss Letitia, she says, my mother told me one day, I thank you for allowing me to enjoy being a grandmother. What I mean by that is you allow me to get them when I want them. You've never made me feel like I had to get them. And I understand that some people feel that way. And I love that. Thank you for that insert, Miss Coffee.
Yeah.
Yep.
Miss Jackie says this is a heavy topic. She's sending love and gratitude for you all to share. We thank you for that, Miss Jackie. We're going to move forward to Miss Bailey. Tiffany says, definitely have. My mother nor my father raised me and my siblings. My mother wanted us back when me and my sisters was like elementary age. My aunt raised us in her own 4 boys. Fast forward, I'm a mother of 2, and I promised myself that I would never do that to them. Now, Miss Bailey,
I know how that goes.
To that, both of you say what? I don't want to be the only one talking here tonight. So we can start with Miss Nikole. How do you feel about anything you've heard thus far?
The one Miss Bailey just had at the very end of her comment, saying that when she chose to get older, she wanted to do things different for her children than what she saw. And that's how I was, because I was very young when my parents got divorced, and it didn't bother me as much as it hurt my older sister. My parents are 2 totally different type of characters. And when I got older, my parents are 2 totally different type of handle things this way, handle things that way, strictly this way, strictly that way. And when I said, when I get older and have my kids, when I'm married, I'm going to do however I want. My kids can do whatever they want, but I'm still going to be not their friend, but still the strict to a certain degree. So I understand about saying, I'm going to do things different with my kids. And that's what I did. And I have a couple of them, well, mainly one. I don't know what his deal is, but he still has a little disrespect, but whatever. He'll be all right. But my husband and I, well, my ex-husband, we were married 23 years, 27? I don't know. A long time. We got married in 1996. And we have 4 children, 3 boys and a girl. So our parenting skills were very different. And I'm the one that says, I'm very strict, but I still have an upper hand to a certain degree. You want to be their friend, it's not going to work out. And for him to have been around his whole family, like grandmothers, aunts, uncles, cousins, I wasn't able to be around that. I don't know that lifestyle. So I geared more to that. So that's why I'm more interested in wanting to be a grandparent, because I didn't have that growing up from either one side of my family. So if I choose to want to have my grandbabies all day, give them to me. I want them. And I'm very jealous of a lot of my friends who get to have their grandbabies. And I also still have a 16-year-old and a 13-year-old to raise.
Mr. Jason, he says, does that systemic plague come from your father's hardness?
Yeah, who's that from? What's that?
So
That's Jason. Hey, Jason, DeVito.
Yeah, that's my dog.
Yeah,
PMB
yeah.
Life.
Hey, me and Jason played ball on the Astros over there at Stokes Field growing up.
Field, let's go.
Okay.
But it was the virus for me.
He says systemic plague. I don't know. I don't know if I'd call it a plague.
But systemic. Why would that word be used for systemic? That's what I want him to express. Why would that be systemic?
Yeah, because I'm not necessarily understand. I know he's directing it at me, but I'm
thinking the order of the household because he mentioned your father.
Right.
Okay.
You know, so the order of your household.
Okay.
Mr. Jason, you on the screen, not the Jason in the comments, but I think that was directed towards you because I haven't given my opinion yet.
Right. Absolutely. I am my father's son. There is no doubt about that. I am my father's son. In a lot of ways. And as I've gotten older, I haven't gotten away from the values that my father instilled, that my grandmother instilled. It kind of hits home what the young lady Miss Bailey was talking about. You got a mother, right? A grandmother. You got a mother. When a child gets to experience their grandparent, their parent is just a reflection of that, right? And so the next generation will be a reflection of that parent, and then their children should be a reflection of, and so those values should be consistent. There's an opportunity for a child who has what I experienced when I got to see my dad have a granddaughter. I was like, who is this? Who is this man? Okay, that was something, an experience for me to see, a side of him that I wasn't accustomed to as a child. He was very loving. He never went without telling me that he loved me and none of that. But he was firm. He was very stern. He didn't raise me to be a child. He raised me to be a man. And because of certain circumstances that my brother and I were in, my dad didn't have time to coddle us and pretend like the world is a happy place. Okay. While the outside world was trying to tear us down because of the shade of our, soul, skin, at home, there was, that's what dad was fighting against. Hey, don't let them judge you. None of that. You believe in you, all of those things. And so, yeah, absolutely, Jason. I wouldn't say systemic plague.
I appreciate that. We're not going to harp on. We're not going to say
but I think
with words, right?
I think
semantic with words.
I think it was a condition. Yeah, the conditions product of my environment. Absolutely.
So he cleared it up. He cleared it up in the comments. He said he spoke on failed relationships. I'm just trying to correlate our anger issues. issues.
We'll get to that, and we'll get to
Yeah,
anger.
we'll get to that. Yeah, we'll move
Yeah.
forward with that. For now, Miss Bailey said it hurts. It hurts because being abandoned at a young age, you're not quite understanding the reasons why, and I agree with that.
Right.
Do any of you have any objections to what she said?
I don't have an objection. I'm sorry because the
Why are
situation
you
that occurred,
sorry? Why are you sorry? You don't have an objection.
because it doesn't reflect on me. It reflects on, I have a daughter who's 13 who has abandonment issues. She has separation anxiety because of what had happened in her father's relationship and I. And I'm the one who has to deal with it more than him. And that's what hurts the most, because we do have 3 older boys and she's the only girl, and a lot more of toxic things happen more as she was younger. So the abandonment, she feels more than her older brothers.
Mm.
She
And
doesn't have what they had. Right.
So let me stop y'all there.
she will express it more than them and has it more.
Let me stop y'all there for a second. Let me ask y'all
Okay.
a question that'll turn the tides real quick. Have y'all found yourself in a position of abandoning somebody
I never have.
in any shape, form, or fashion?
I never have.
Yeah.
I don't have that in my soul. No. No.
Miss
I could
Nikole,
see how some
I'm talking about
feel,
even in the
yeah.
dating phase where you ghost somebody.
Yeah, I can see how.
I'm learning that myself right now, since now that I'm divorced for 4 years. I'm like, what is this ghosting stuff? What is this? I don't know nothing about it. You
But
know,
have you done it?
I don't ghost anybody because it's not in my soul.
So
I don't purposely do that. No.
Okay.
I will only do something onto someone if they do it to me. But
Well,
if it's to
listen
the
to
point,
what Miss Nikole, I need
Yeah.
you to listen to what you're saying.
go ahead.
I will do what others do to me. Has anybody, you just expressed earlier, somebody's abandoned you, correct?
Not me no more. No.
No. You did express that somebody has abandoned you, but then
You
now
know what it feels like. You know what it feels like.
Yeah.
hold
Yeah.
on.
Got it.
But now you make the statement that you only do what people do to you, right? So you can understand why there's confusion here, and I'm gonna let you clear it up.
Okay, so I'm gonna clear it up to the point where I'm learning to date. So it's very different being with somebody for over 20 something years. So
27, 1996 to now is 27.
I was with somebody for 20 something years.
Mm-mm.
So it's
I know the math. It's 27.
Hey, she know it too. Say it. Hey, say it. It's
Yeah,
27. That's okay.
Are you running from the years? 27.
Hey, it matters. It ain't 2.
20 plus years of
Mhm.
not knowing how to date, from being 18 to 49 years old. I'm learning things, and it's really different for me now, and it's very different for my children. So I'm not going to abandon my children. But if someone that I'm trying to date or kick it with, if y'all want to say, or whatever they kid, I don't know what they say. I don't know. But I would never purposely abandon, ghost. And if you don't want to talk, if you don't want to talk to me no more, and I didn't do nothing wrong, I'm cool. That's it. But I don't purposely abandon anybody, because the hurt, and that's what I try to teach my ex-husband now in the relationship that he's in. Talk to this person, communicate, learn different than what you did with me. I've been friends with him since I was 18.